Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us this Friday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Russ has the night off. Well, tonight there are now 4 cases of confirmed COVID-19 in Montana, one of them right here in Yellowstone County. The other 3 cases are in Gallatin, Silverbow, and Lewis and Clark counties. Now, those details announced tonight by Governor Steve Bullock. Q2's David J. standing by now with the very latest. David.
Well, Jeanelle, Governor Bullock says county health departments are determining exposure, risk, travel history, and people who had close contact with those patients. According to the Gallatin County Health Department, that patient had no contact with people at schools or senior facilities and recently traveled internationally. Those testing positive for COVID-19 are a Gallatin County man in his 40s, a Yellowstone County woman in her 50s, a Silverbow County man in his 50s, and a Lewis and Clark County man in his 50s. The tests are presumptively positive and will be confirmed by the Centers for Disease Control. The governor says we've been monitoring this rapidly evolving situation and vigorously preparing for COVID-19 to reach Montana, making today's news unsurprising. As our public health officials work relentlessly to prevent further spread, I urge all Montanans to continue efforts to plan and follow public health recommendations to take the proper precautions. The Department of Public Health and Human Services has tested 107 people for COVID-19. The governor says the state has the capacity to test 1,000 people, and he expects to receive more test kits from the CDC. Jeanelle?
All right. Thanks so much, David. Well, this news prompting the Montana High School Association to let tonight's state basketball semifinals play out and then cancel the rest of the games. Q2 Sports Director Scott Breen joining us now for more on this abrupt end to the high school winter sports season. Scott.
It really is. And USA Today came out with an article tonight that said, hey, Montana is the only state in the country that has unregulated athletic events happening right now, in particular high school state basketball tournaments. So bottom line is that was prior to that knowledge, was prior to any of these confirmed cases. Mark Beckman and the High School Association decided earlier this afternoon, and they put out a note saying, you know what, we don't have any confirmed cases of coronavirus here in Montana. Play on. Let's do it. As of tonight, around 7:30, 8 o'clock, there were 4 confirmed cases. He got word of that. They put the brain power together and said, you know what, let's continue to play the semifinals tonight, because again, this was between semifinal games and a couple had already started as well of the late ones. He goes, let's continue to play these, and we're just going to crown co-champions. Winners of the semifinals will be your co-champions. Tournament canceled after that. So that's what they did in Billings, Bozeman, Butte, and Missoula, just right down the interstate, all 4 state tournaments. Couple of games still wrapping up, but we have, well, 16 champions, if you will. Instead of 8 individuals, we have 16 co-champions, and I'll show you who they are in sports. Several from the local area right here.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Scott.
Bet.
Well, tonight, Yellowstone County Unified Health Command says it is still encouraging the postponement of large gatherings. The command suggesting people maintain their distance. And as for work and school, they say use common sense.
If you believe you're sick enough to have gone to the doctor when there wasn't the risk of COVID-19, you should go to the doctor. If you believe you would have been sick enough to go to the emergency department before there was thought of COVID-19, you should go to the emergency department. If prior to the thought of COVID-19, you would have stayed home and taken a day or 2 off work or away from school, stay home and take a day or 2 off work and away from school.
And John Felton says the Unified Health Command is now working on a centralized testing center and will soon announce the location. Well, today I asked a local doctor how we can put this into perspective for our families and our communities.
I think we realize we're going to get through this. First and foremost, it's going to be scary. There's going to be a lot of frustrations and a lot of concerns, but there's been pandemics since mankind, and because of that, we will figure out how to get through it. There will be sad times, frustrating times, as mentioned, but we will get through this, hopefully in a matter of weeks or months, but this is something that we can treat eventually.
You can see that full interview with Dr. Brad Fuller right now at KTVQ.com. School District 2 announced a number of measures to combat the spread of the virus today. Superintendent Greg Upham says public schools will remain in normal operating procedures, but says a number of other immediate actions will go into effect on Monday. Those include suspension of all out-of-state travel for student groups and activities, postponement of indoor events that are open to public, and the suspension of all outside volunteer presence. Upham adds that all 3 public high school proms have been suspended.
We're not panicking at all, John. I told our administrators we're not up against a cliff. This is a proactive measure to, assist in allowing this virus to just settle itself out and not host itself and move. And so better to do it now before we're in an emergency situation.
And a full list of public school changes and precautions can be found on your website, KTVQ.com. As for other changes, it's one of Montana's most anticipated events each year, but now the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Butte is canceled. Parade organizers confirmed the news earlier today. The parade also canceled in Billings tomorrow. The MSU Powwow in Bozeman on Saturday has also been canceled. The city of Billings will suspend all library bookmobile services and the public use of all library community room spaces. The city also suspending all indoor recreation programs and all community and senior center programs, with the exception of the Adult Resources Alliance Meals Program. All other city services and facilities will remain open. Now, Jobs Jamboree, the largest job fair in this region, is also not happening. All other